wing summons you can do, which are pretty cool, but no one does pendulum really, from what I've seen. But
I don't actually know if it was ever meta. I just read the card descriptions and I thought these things are fucking stupid.
They're really crazy, yeah. But though, like, there's some sick stuff you can do. Some people on their first turn get like 5 monsters out, and I'm just like, this is gay. And I throw my
that's
hand
why I
down.
would never go to a tournament.
But it's fun. I pulled like a $20 card out of one of the free boosters they gave me.
I was like, Travis always overreacting.
This is like what he does with Pokemon.
It's true. Very similar.
That's what I'm gonna be like talking about fucking Blade. Why did we talk about? Why did we do these movies? These movies suck. These movies are so lame. I've never watched it. No, they're all lame. All these movies suck. I'm never watching any of these again.
I take it if Taylor and I do the TV show, you're not joining us?
Fuck that.
Yeah, no, I'm
No
not for
way.
that either.
You would have to.
It's only 10 episodes.
Fans, if you get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube in 4 days, I will do it.
In 4 days,
Wow.
we don't even have like.
If you do it in 5 days, I'll think about it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Marvel Retrospective. I'm the Deadpool Light, Travis Snell.
I am the necklace hipster, Dylan Musk.
Yeah, he is.
I'm the Kuchiku Taylor Field.
Okay. I am the Hannibal Queen, Jessica.
Oh, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You haven't guessed by our nicknames. This is the, potentially last episode.
I don't know that anyone would guess it from those nicknames.
Mine was clearly obvious.
Mine is
a major part of the movie.
irrelevant. Mine is an inside joke for 2 people.
I think they would get all of ours except for Dylan's. Unless they...
I don't know that I would guess Taylor's.
If I even listen back to this
that
cast
scene?
in like a couple weeks, I'd probably forget what mine is. So
I just don't think that when someone were to say Gucci Goo that I would instantly be like, oh shit, Blade, Trinity.
It's the most
I think
cheerfulest Blade has ever been.
I think you're the lowest on
yeah,
the nickname pool.
Anyway.
But yes, we are reviewing possibly the last Blade retro. Maybe one day we'll get to that TV show. It's out there.
I'll do
But hey, I think we should do it whenever they announce what they're doing next with Blade. Whether it's a movie or TV show, that'd be good. It's only 10 episodes, sticky fingers. And I've heard good things. But this is the last retro for the movies. So go back and check out Blade 1 and Blade 2, and then after this, I don't know what's the next Marvel movie? Venom. We'll be doing Venom and Iron Fist. So around that time we'll be doing something. I know if you go watch Work Hard Wolf Hard, cheap plug, you can see what our next retro is gonna be. And then for just retros in general, we're gonna be starting up Halloween very soon in honor of the Halloween remake coming out in what is it? Is it technically a remake? What is this? See, it's a sequel remake actually. So, sequel remake coming out in October. So, we're going to start Halloween Retro and check out that because our Saw Retro was quite fun.
I'm just going to throw it out, that Wolf Hard Work Hard commercial. Oh my god, I laughed so freaking hard.
Have you watched the full episode?
I have not watched the full episode.
You should. It's only 15 minutes. It's great, so go subscribe. Get your
That's a lot of time, Travis.
It is. But that commercial was prime. I laughed way harder than I should have.
The Wolves, we know good quality entertainment.
You say that, but me and Kirkland were in that. We're not wolves,
Guest stars, You can throw up 3 with your other hand.
Well, I'm right-handed.
No, that's not a W.
I'm right-handed too.
Throw up your toes, dude.
Unfortunately.
BAM!
Wolf Hard. The Wolf Order. Go get your t-shirts to T-Ball. And now we're gonna talk about Blade 3. The closing out of this trilogy. Who wants to start? Who wants to take Jessica? Boom, she's starting. Yeah, you and Jessica should, because you guys were one of the reasons why we were hyped to do the Blade retro, because you guys wanted to get to Blade Trinity. So, what did you think about it watching?
I still think it's the best one. I maybe solo in this by the sounds of things, but I don't know. I think that it's true. It's solely the Deadpool-esque, just.
It starts like Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds doing narration, and it's like really like asshole snarky-ish. So it's like the second it started, I did not remember it started that way. And it's like, wow, this is scary to know what would come years later. So
yeah, there was a couple of scenes too where I was watching and Matt's like, oh shit, this is the part where this happens, and I'm like, how the fuck do you randomly know that? But I do think, maybe it's just biased because of the generation we grew up in, but I found that even the animation was a lot cleaner compared to the last 2. I did enjoy some of the characters more than previous ones, and I did like too that there was actually recognizable actors in this one. maybe I'm just forgetting since the last ones, but I don't actually remember seeing people and be like, oh shit, like I know that person. I just felt.
I feel like they weren't
No
that recognizable
worries.
back then, though. Like, Prison Break guy was nobody, and then Jessica Biel, I'd have to see, but I feel like this is one of her first, like, big movies, you know? Like, Reynolds, I could see, but I feel like everyone's, now they're bigger stars, but back then it was...
The guy, Dexter's dad, is in this.
James Remar, Harry.
And, the girl from Orange is the New Black.
I don't know who that is.
The blind
The
girl.
blind-
Yeah, the blind
Oh,
girl.
from,
Yeah.
you mean from American Pie.
Yeah, that's what I thought from too.
And Patton Oswalt.
Who?
Patton Oswalt.
No idea.
He's a very popular comedian and comedic actor.
No, he's not.
Obviously not that popular.
Okay.
I have heard the name, but I don't know what he looks like.
I continue my statement that it is the best of the Blades. I'll leave it for that for my intro.
Mm.
I guess I'll go next. I don't know if Travis is going to edit that part at the beginning, but I was just trashing these movies. I didn't really like any of these
Oh,
movies.
no, I'm keeping him in.
And I think I don't know. We watched the first one like a month ago.
Yep.
And it's already quite foggy in my mind because I mean I've only seen it the once. I feel like Blade, the character of Blade, was like cooler in that movie. He had like more like funny lines and stuff like that. Am I just misremembering that, or is it because in this movie
No.
once again he's like radio silent. He doesn't talk ever. He has like 20 words in this whole movie. Same thing with the second one. He just doesn't talk. He doesn't say anything.
See, I think
He just stands there.
I think he's.
It's so lame. This is your star, and he's so boring. He's like pretty badass, and yeah, he's got the fight scene. Like the choreography is good, and I think the effects, as you said, Jessica, are a step up from the last one for sure. But he's just so bland. Like
I will
I don't
counter
know.
with, I think in the first one there's a lot more talking, so he gets to be clever. This one, when he does talk, the lines are not clever and they're just very poor. And the second one, I do think he speaks less, but I think it's because the setting of the movie is much more action oriented, right? Like there's a lot of big action set pieces, like in the sewer, in the club. It's just him looking around, like, or it's like he's doing humor in a different way where when he fucks around prone with the bomb, or in the club when he has a gun under his arm, like he's doing humor in a different way. Where in this movie, I think he had some really shitty lines. I feel like Blade I felt like he was unlike him in the first two, where he felt like a loose cannon in this movie a lot of times. He was running around, didn't seem like he knew what he was doing. He would just be like, "What you doing?" Like, "What's good?" Like he didn't seem cool and collect like Blade
Because
usually
they killed
is.
that guy.
Yeah, but like they killed him in the first one, and then he was still cool. You know, like that was my thing. Like it didn't seem like Blade. And the other reason is as well because Wesley Snipes hated this movie. He hated the director. He didn't like the script. He spent most of his time in the trailer, and it was hard to get out of this trailer. So I think you can kind of see in this movie that he was over it, and he also felt that they were trying to replace him with the Night Stalkers. So he fucking hates this
I can
movie, and he
understand that,
kind of
yeah.
checked out. So I feel for me, who likes Blade 1 and Blade 2, that I can see that in the performance, that he's like, he's just there to like get his paycheck and move on and hope that Blade 4 happens. But then he went to prison, so life sucks.
Yeah.
So, you know.
What else? Yeah, I guess the Night Stalkers. Ryan Reynolds to me, I liked seeing it. I thought it was cool because obviously it is like very much a precursor to what Deadpool has become. But in this movie, I didn't really find any of what he said funny. I just felt like it just felt like a character who was like trying to be super edgy, whereas Deadpool, that just works so seamlessly and you don't really think about it. It's more natural. Yeah, I guess in this movie it's like there's not really any development. He's just always spewing out like these like cock juggling thunder cunt, things like that. You know?
Yeah, just words that are offensive that go together, which he does in Deadpool, but like there's something more
like Ryan
subtle
Reynolds,
about it.
obviously he can deliver that well enough, but I didn't really have any interest in his character. Whistler is a fucking confusing, stupidly, poorly written character in this movie. I don't even understand.
He has a daughter.
He has a daughter too, and she also doesn't say anything. She's pretty badass. She's very Laura Croft-esque in the way she dresses and like the bow thing, but she's kind of bland as well. The villains, one of them is just like the female villain is just awful acting, just super bad
Posey is
acting.
not a good actor.
And then the male villain, the main guy. I don't know. I don't really have much to say about him. He's pretty boring. And then I get that one guy, like
his
the
official name was Drake, by the way.
Drake.
Because he's supposed to be like Dracula.
Yeah, he's like a discount. He's a discount.
Yeah, he's like
the Walgreens Dracula.
Yeah, but they called him Drake in this.
So the other guy who was like the second in line to the main girl. That guy is like a wrestler, right?
Triple H, yeah, he's one of the most famous wrestlers of all time. 14-time world champion.
Yeah, his character was pretty bad.
Oh yeah,
But
and he's a pretty bad actor.
Yeah.
This is at the time that the rumors was that he was potentially at one point maybe going to play Thor way back when Marvel was just doing one-offs just because he looks like Thor, but it's a good thing it didn't happen. I love Triple H. He's a top 10 favorite wrestler of mine. He should stay away from these movies.
Yeah, but those like Fangirls. Is that the same guy that we're talking about?
Yeah.
Those Fangirls are just prime.
I can't support that. Yeah, maybe Taylor. Yeah. Not recommended.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess there's a couple cool action scenes. Music, nothing really to mention. Not really any cinematography or like great scenes. There's a couple cool parts or like section things that I like in this movie. And I think honestly, like on paper, if you look at this movie and look at all that it has going on, there's like real potential there for what could be a really interesting movie. If at least you compared it to like what kind of the way comic book movies are more now, but you added in like that kind of horror factor to it. I think it could have been really good, but unfortunately, poor writing I think is the biggest thing here. And yeah, I was just very, very unenjoyable, and I'm super down on this trilogy. I don't think I'll ever watch any of these 3 movies again in my entire life. I did not enjoy them very much at all.
Well, if we have to torture you and tie you down, we know that's when you'll be watching them again, so...
I think you could pick something worse, but I can't tell you what it is. That would not be good for my health.
Would you rather watch Jigsaw once or would you watch Jigsaw 3 times or watch each movie separately in this?
Because I wouldn't hate doing Jigsaw rewatch at some point because I like that series more.
But could you do it 3 times like in a row?
In a row. So that's like...
So it's either the 3 Blade movies or Jigsaw back to back.
That's like a full shift.
And
I'm not getting paid for it.
No, this is torture.
Yeah, this is my Saturday. Oh, man. That's hard to say. Wait, what was the question? Would I watch these movies again or Jigsaw 3 times?
Yeah.
I would probably do Jigsaw. Yeah, I think
that's shorter too for you as well.
Yeah, these movies always have to be 2 hours.
Oh yeah,
for some reason.
It's like the Netflix 13 episodes. So yeah, I'll piggyback on Dylan. I haven't been with them much on this cast, but I am on this one where I was just very bored throughout this movie, and I don't even think it's so funny. So this is a movie that was notorious before, like an X3 or a Spider-Man 3 of one of these, like, oh, it's a really bad comic book movie. So I went in trying to thinking it was gonna be pretty awful. And there's at times it is, but for me it wasn't so like outlandishly bad that it's just like an X-Men Origins or like a Green Lantern. It was just like just plain Jane and bad and just kind of boring. And there were some plot twists that were like, okay, I saw it coming from a mile away. Not just because I've seen it, just because it's not that well written. Dialogue's not that well written, which sucks because Blade, the character is written really well in the first 2. Soundtrack is very lackluster, especially for the first 2. Like they really got their pulse on like hip R&B rap in that era, and this is just, I think there's a lot more rock in this movie, which...
I don't even feel like there was a whole lot of music.
No, and I guess maybe they're trying to mix that in because the Night Stalkers, and it's a new generation, and yeah, Ryan Reynolds is...
That really took off, didn't it?
yeah. Ryan Reynolds is fine in this movie. I think Ryan Reynolds, you have to think really hard to find a movie where he's bad in. He's just one of those actors who's in many bad movies, but he's always good. Jessica Biel has always just been just such a white bread actress. Like, there's nothing like, I don't know, when there was these conversations with her and Scarlett, it's like, you can see why Scarlett's gone so much further, because Jessica Biel, like, she's fine. She's just never that talented.
She's someone that I had to Google what her name was because I forgot.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know actors nearly as well as you do in particular.
She was huge because of this, and then her other big one was the Chainsaw Massacre remake.
Stealth.
What? And Stealth, yeah. She had like a string of a few big movies in the early 2000s, and then it just kind of plummeted. I don't think she's like an awful actress. I think she's just kind of fine. Whistler is kind of there. The villains are off in this movie. Parker Posey, I've never seen in a good performance, and it's this, and it's Scream 3. I don't know.
At first, I thought she was, what's that girl from the Hunger Games with all the crazy hair?
Elizabeth Banks. She looks identical to her. She looks
I thought it was her, and I was like, why is she so bad?
Yeah. She looks like her in Power Rangers almost. Yeah.
Who's the Parker guy you said again?
Who's who?
You said Parker. You never seen him in anything good?
No, Parker Posey. That's the actress who plays the main villain.
Danica something.
Her real name is Parker Posey. Yeah.
Okay.
What is her? It's Danica Talos.
Talos.
Yeah. And then Drake is
Oh, she was in Lost in Space. That's where I recognize her from.
I haven't seen it. I've heard good things about the show,
It
but
is really good.
she's a big red flag for me. So I don't know.
That's the whole reason you haven't watched it.
Kind of.
Just
When I heard she was in it, I was
watch
like,
that
I don't know. And then the idea of an updated Dracula is always, I think, it's kind of, it could have been a good idea, and I think it's a trope that's used quite a bit in movies, but it's always fun. Okay, you got a medieval character coming in today's
For
world.
the end of a trilogy, it's fine. Right?
Yeah, but they don't take much into it. Like, there's that one scene of him in the tattoo parlor, but we don't really get him interacting with the world. Like, he makes these
That
offshoot...
was a weird scene.
Yeah. He makes these offshoot
Jack on
comments.
vibrators.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great... And it's... Yeah. Like, he makes some off comments about, like, people couldn't sword fight today. Like, that's not the exact line. But he just says stuff like they have no honor in swords and, like, they don't do this. And it's like, but we don't really have a scene where he's going around... Like, so what? He goes into one tattoo parlor and because, there's vampire, like... vibrators. He's like, this world needs, like, this world's gone to shit. Like,
I think he out of all the things in the story, actually touched the cereal.
good for Count Dracula and that, you know. But I just feel like he's really underdeveloped, and this movie it just kind of happens, and it's just a whimper of the trilogy. So yeah, we'll get more into it. But it's a weird movie, and I don't even think it's one of the worst. It's in like if the worst are like the F. This is like the D level, where it's not the worst comic book movie, but it's just above that.
I was hoping it was going to be worse than like what you, because it wasn't even bad fun.
Yeah, no, I
bad.
remember it being a lot worse, but then when I watched it, nope, it's just got a bad. So.
I watched this movie a few times a few months ago. I was telling Travis about it as soon as it went on Netflix. I'm
He
like,
said
I
he
gotta watch
binged
this.
it. I'm like, how do you binge a movie? He's like, oh, you watch them all.
Have you watched it recently?
Yeah, I watched it last night and then today.
Wow,
Nice.
you're just like...
I think he's lying.
But it was like
Sometimes
I
Taylor
watched
shows
it.
up to a retro. He's like, yeah, I watched it a few weeks ago.
When are
It's
you
like,
watching
what are you
Halloween?
talking about?
Am I watching Halloween? Maybe tomorrow when I'm at work. Throughout the course.
Yeah,
of the
I
shift.
might have to miss that, guys. Unfortunately.
You know when Netflix like posts on Twitter and it's like, this person watched Lord of the Rings like 400 times this year.
No.
Taylor's gonna be that
Wait,
person
what?
for Blade
No,
Is that a
Trinity.
thing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they posted like
Is there a friends list on Netflix?
no, like they'll post on Twitter. There was like
Oh.
one person that watched Lord of the Rings: Return of the King more times in a year than there were days of a year. Like he literally had played it more
That's me,
times
guys.
than
Sorry.
once a day.
Do they do that with every movie?
Just things that randomly are.
I feel like people who do that don't really want to be called out on it.
I
you know?
feel like I should get Netflix.
Do they put their name on it, or is it just like the stat?
Netflix Wedding Crashers. You know I'm watching that the most out of anybody, so I better get that shout out here soon because I've been all over that. So Taylor, raise this cast up for the people that love this movie. What did you think about it?
Yeah, how can you binge it?
I don't know. There's as much as I love Blade 2 and it's my favorite one. This one just has a certain like.
Going in on that
Feel.
short string, eh?
It's really just sick right now.
Yeah, see, like this. To the 53 people who've watched
Really
Christmas
sick.
Prince every day for the past 18 days, who hurt you? Like, 18 days in a row you watch the same movie? Like, why?
I've been there. I watched Thor Ragnarok like 5 days in a row.
Yeah,
at
that's
one point.
5.
No, I know, but I can see it happening. If I wasn't working, like I can see it happening. Some movies are just good go-tos to put on,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I definitely would pick a TV show over watching the same thing 18 days in a
It's
row.
comforting.
Okay, well, now we know that. Anyway, all I was saying is that Taylor's that guy, but with Blade Trinity.
The one guy.
Christmas Prince is hard to beat though. 18 days, wow. So, oh Jesus. So, I think there's so much.
What's happening to this podcast?
There's so much I can take away from this movie, and I'm just gonna shout out right now the
Please
one
do.
scene when Hannibal King he's been abducted and he's like, oh, he made a goddamn vampire Pomeranian, and the wrestler is like all like
Triple H, give him some
yeah,
credit.
Triple H. He's all friends with the dog and stuff, and then he's Ron Reynolds like clearly the dog has a bigger dick than you, and he turns and he's just. This is why I feel like he's a good actor. He's like, and when the fuck did you see my dick?
I did like that line. It was actually pretty good in a bad
Like,
sense.
he looked like he was genuinely offended, like it wasn't in the script. But like,
You didn't realize they were making a movie.
I love that we just shot out a Triple H bad actor, and you're just like, he's such a good actor.
well, I love it. I like all his scenes. He just brings it like hours later when they're at their meeting. He finally rips the arrow out of his head, and it's so energetic. He's like, oh. It's so great.
You should. I'll send you some clips of some.
Some would
comedic
call
stuff
that
he does
good
in
acting, some would
wrestling.
call it overacting. There's a fine line there.
That's where wrestling fans. He created the suck it motion. Legitimately, him and Shawn Michaels suck it. They were the originators in the world. So
Yeah?
yeah.
That's pretty
No, legit. Yeah, it came from the 90s.
I believe that was in Sun Tzu's The Art of War, actually.
I don't think so. When's that movie coming out?
Next week.
But yeah, no, I think starting off, I think you're right now that I realize it. Blade doesn't talk much at all in this movie.
Mhm.
He's just along for the ride.
Yeah, in his own movie.
But like when he gets pissed off, he really gets pissed off. Like I love when he meets the Night Stalkers for the first time, and he's calling them out on their shit. Like, what are you wearing for your clothes? You guys are a bunch of kids. And what is the way he delivers? He's like, what's this? And he taps his chest and he's Ryan Reynolds. Hello, my name is Fuck You. And he's just so upset.
Hey, I wish I watched this movie.
Yeah.
Taylor.
It would have made it so much better.
It's so great. I absolutely love that scene.
You know, well, Taylor's trying to. One scene too, that his one-liner when he's got the guy and they're like at the blood bank and he's like, what's in there? He's like, I can't tell you. They'll kill me. He's like, motherfucker, I'll kill you.
That was
So good.
Yeah.
He's just got so many awesome like lines that he does deliver when he does talk.
See, I don't think he has so many. I think he has a few, but like
Yeah.
you know.
The ratio is good, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah. I think too it was very cool to see the familiars working a little bit more frequently in this film and seeing how they were being used by the vampires, and I love how he got staged killing that one familiar pretending to be a vampire. That was pretty
The movie starts good.
yeah.
And then, yeah.
I think the whole scene. Well, we're gonna get into talking about dissecting the whole movie later, so I won't go too far.
Let's do it
into
right now.
Right
We
now.
have nowhere else to go.
Do you have any other points in your wall? You can just start getting into it.
Sorry.
I love. Well, one huge thing I love is the fact that the vampires were doing the whole like farming of humans or whatever. I think that's
Was it
very.
like Daybreakers? Because you love
Well, I wasn't gonna shout that out, but I think it's. A
Yeah,
very,
you were. You were. Don't lie.
I think
I
it's
know
a-
We're trying
Shut
to bait
it.
Travis into saying it.
You've shouted out every Blade retro so far. You're like, I love this movie, Daybreakers. They do this thing.
You guys heard of it?
Yeah.
But I think it's a cool
Daybreakers
thing.
retro coming at you.
The whole
No.
Don't give him any crazy ideas.
I would
I'm
agree
done
with
with vampire movies.
you. Sorry, Twilight fans. It's not happening.
As far as Dracula goes, he's
Drake.
Drake.
Yeah.
He's quite a character. I don't know. He just
What does that mean?
Yeah, give me good or bad.
I like how he looks in his vampire form.
He looks badass.
I
Except
just-
I don't understand why he glows blue.
Because he's the original Untainted.
Maybe you have a blue screen. I didn't see the blue.
I
He's
didn't see the blue either.
what? He's glowing
Did you see the
blue
blue?
when
I don't
he's in his big
remember blue.
vampire form. Oh,
I
fuck
never
you
saw
I
that.
feel like
guys.
you had maybe a blue light on or something.
Fuck you.
That one scene too, where it's around the sword when they don't have any honor, and Blade's like, "Motherfucker," and he's just like, "Motherfucker." I like that.
Yeah, that was weird.
I didn't like
Very
that.
strange.
No, I didn't
It's
like
just-
that at all.
It's so awkward.
I was taken back. I was like, who wrote this?
That's exactly.
Same
It's
guy
just,
that
like,
wrote The
so
Dark
bad,
Knight?
it's awkward. Is it really?
Yeah, he directed the movie. He wrote just the story idea, and then the Nolans are like, "We'll write the screenplay." So, but he did write the entire trilogy. David S. Goyer is a guy that's had a very 50-50 career. He's written some great stuff, and he's written some Blade Trinities.
Some Blade Trinities.
Yeah,
Everyone has a Blade Trinity under their belt.
not Nolan.
Not Nolan.
Yeah.
No, he's got a solid record from start to finish.
He should direct the next Blade.
He should direct everything.
Yes, poor guy,
Who
fucking tired.
directed Daybreakers?
Did he?
Yeah, under a Fox name.
No, who did?
Oh. Actually, the same guys that did Jigsaw. That's why I was super disappointed by Jigsaw. I think they're the Steinberg brothers. So yeah, I was really excited for that, and yeah, they really crapped a bit there. So,
Big crap.
you got any more overalls there too? Or should we start breaking this down?
Gosh, overalls,
I'm just trying to find out if this vampire is fucking blue or not.
I'm excited
nice,
just
eh?
to talk about this movie. I think.
So start us off. Where do you want to go first?
Where do I want to go first? I wanna throw this to Dylan here.
Please do.
Actually, how do you feel about Whistler being killed off again?
Again, very quickly and unceremoniously.
It was even worse than the last time he got killed off.
Yeah.
It was like the least. Well, I mean, I guess it wasn't fully his death. I'm still not really sure what happened. So he died, and then they didn't have any sort of outro for him. They're just like, okay, Whistler's gone, and they move on with their lives. And then he comes back like 40 minutes later. Is that him, or is that like some zombie version?
That's like Drake.
It's posing as it, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
shape-shifted into him.
Right.
Yeah, fuck you
That's what I
guys. He's blue right there.
That's probably a blue light, like a UV light.
No,
or
it's
something.
in his body.
Oh, I
While he's
see.
moving around. It's like his
I see what
veins.
you're talking about.
Yeah, fuck
So
these
it's
people. Come
blood
on.
on-
I don't think I wouldn't.
Taylor's trying to stump me in the
Where
Facebook
is it there?
Messenger group. That's just continuity.
I would say maybe he has
No,
like
'cause he was
blue,
C- no, 'cause
blue
he was
highlights.
CGI,
I don't know if he has like. I don't know if he's glowing.
It doesn't matter. He was still blue, and they're all like, "No, Travis,
Yeah,
something's
but
wrong
it's
with your
like if I had a
TV."
blue light
It doesn't
here,
matter.
each
Something's wrong with
turn.
your
It
laptop,
doesn't
Travis.
matter.
Go home to my TV. and put
It's
it
because
on.
they wanted to make him look intense, but like just glowing
Didn't
red
work.
is not. That just makes it look like your TV's broken, whereas glowing blue is obviously more understandable.
Nope, not at all.
Do you consider it a major flaw that Whistler had three
Yes,
computers?
I consider this trilogy
set up?
existing.
The three computer situation where you had to go to every single one.
He's like sliding around. Download complete. Yeah, pretty cheesy. Do I consider it a flaw?
Yeah,
Why
in
would it
case
be
of
a
an
flaw?
emergency, you had to go to 3 separate computers and hit delete.
Yeah, that's certainly not the quickest way to do it. You would think maybe one computer.
I'm sure Blade suggested to,
How
but
much
Whistler's so
how
stubborn.
much information do you think he has? This is like early 2000s. Computers, obviously not what they are today, but still, like you'd think you got a few gigabytes chilling on.
Probably about like
computer.
8 gigabyte hard drives.
I'm
It's
sure.
really not that much.
I'm sure it's-
Especially like everything used more back then.
I'm sure they went to Steve Jobs and was like, "Hey, you want protection from vampires? You need to like give us some tech these next few years." Like, okay, I'll do it. So
I think it's pretty stupid of him. Yeah, I mean, considering that if they were all right next to each other, perhaps, but he had to like slide around and like he was like shooting dudes in between. Very risky move. I mean, I guess
well, he did pay for it in the end.
he died.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what killed him. And then no one talks about it. No one talks about
No,
it.
no. Blade's not upset at all in this movie about Whistler going. They bring it up a few times because his daughter's around,
But like barely, she cared more because I mean I guess she didn't really have much of a relationship with him, but she was a lot more emotional when the blind like their assistant I guess she was
use it.
when she I don't remember that one.
Okay,
She's holding the blind girl, and Blade's like, use it. Use
Right.
I like
Use
that
it.
moment because of like, okay, so that she has this traumatic experience, gonna use it, but then they topped it off with Jessica Biel to give out this cheesy yell, just like, ah, like no, like this was going. That's the problem. Anytime this movie has some potential,
It
takes
was
it
a
apart.
better
like,
emotional scene.
It was until she
Yeah.
screamed, I think, for me. So
Yeah,
it just was just
Uh-huh.
like, just make it subtle. Like she's so good, she doesn't need to scream. You know, there's nothing to scream about.
it's true. But yeah, no, I do think Whistler getting the short end of the stick again is very confusing. I don't understand. Like I don't feel like they ever knew what they wanted to do with Whistler.
I
perhaps.
feel in the first movie he's used well though as the sidekick, and then if he were to get killed, it's like okay, Blade like learn from. I think he gets a
Yeah.
short stick because he gets brought back in the second one.
Yeah.
Makes no sense, and then this one he just
Yeah,
dies.
I mean retroactively, I guess it was fine in the movie at the
Yeah.
time. But then the second one kind of ruined that.
I always thought Whistler was his first name, but apparently it's his last name because her name is Abigail Whistler. So
Mm-hmm.
Some people go by their last name.
One thing I'll throw out, I definitely feel like as opposed to the other movies, at least the first one, I feel like this one when Whistler died, you definitely feel like Blade he felt alone and didn't have any, like, I felt sorry for him because I felt like everything was taken away from him and he felt like alone, especially when he was in that jail cell scene or the interrogation room scene. I just felt like he was totally stripped away and had like nothing going for him and was alone. And
I feel like that's you read into the character because like in that jail cell scene, he's just getting beat up and people come in. We don't have moments of Blade alone to see him actually be depressed.
But
see him
I felt
dealing
Because they
with
even
it.
just kind of say like, and Whistler died. Like they kind of just say it in
Yeah.
passing, and I guess he's like kind of emotional in that scene. But I didn't really feel like it was because of the Whistler situation. I just felt like it was because of what was happening, and then obviously he got like drugged,
Yeah.
and that kind of threw his emotions off a little bit.
Well, I feel like just when you woke up though, and the cops like rise and shine, and he wakes up, I feel like I'm waking up with them, and you're just alone, and you don't have.
Again, I feel like yeah, you are, but I think the writing wise, they don't.
No,
they
I
don't-
could never be immersed in this movie enough to feel that.
I don't think they did a good job, especially even in the first one. They even at least throw a Whistler dying flashback, you know, to be like, okay, well, Blade's still thinking about him, you know, like we get flashbacks of Whistler, but it's because Abigail's just having flashbacks of like some stuff they shot on the set one day, of like, oh, you need to make sure that you guys are
When
father and
Wesley
daughter.
wouldn't come out of his trailer.
yeah. But even then, we don't even get a flashback of Abigail and him together. It's just her memories of him. So that was like, yeah, it's your daughter, but I don't really feel any connection to that either because it's just like, yeah, that's your daughter. Okay, we don't even got a scene of them meeting or showing their strained relationship. It's like, okay, sure.
Yeah, at least you have a scene of her coming to him in the past and stuff, and their conversations about how she wanted to join and all of that.
Because there's been no mention of anybody else in Whistler's life in the first two movies, and now all of a sudden he has a kid. So,
and she's like 20 something. So.
Vampire hunter as well. So yeah.
You would think maybe that would come up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know her backstory. They don't really talk about it.
Because apparently she kept
wife or whatever it
was.
was.
Yeah, something like that.
Classics.
Because apparently he kept it from Blade, because Blade had no idea he had a daughter, right? So he didn't even mention her. So.
And didn't want her to die. You know, you gotta protect them by not mentioning them ever.
That makes no sense. No sense. That she's also hunting vampires. Yeah. Like he could have made this meeting a much more soother if he's just like, "Hey, Blade, meet my daughter."
I don't know. I mean, it could have pushed the movie to be like 2.5 hours, and I don't know if I could have handled that. I might have had to close the window.
Maybe take some stuff out of Ray Bear movie. You know, like Whistler doesn't need to die, this and that. But
or like
take out
his daughter could have been the assistant in Blade 2 and he disappeared, and all of a sudden she could have been like, "Hey, like, let me help you."
But then you wouldn't have that great Norman Reedus storyline.
Great Tarragon. Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
That moment was just so unseen, unexpected.
So
do you like how they call it Blade Trinity because it is 3, but also because there's 3 people and Night Stalkers left?
Sure.
I mean, I guess if you want, like, there's probably a lot of things that are in 3s. Like, there's 3 H's in that guy's name.
Yeah.
There's 3 dogs that chase Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. And they have 3 pieces of their mouth. Each of those 3 dogs, right? They, like, break open. And...
That's a stretch, but I'll give it to you.
I feel like...
This movie felt like 3 hours. So, you know, Trinity all over the place.
It's a perfect title. I should just call it the trifecta.
Not since The Dark Knight or Logan has there been a more subtle comic book title. Blade Trinity. I just think they wanted to be different, and you know, and I think that's. Yeah. I think comic movies all have that moment where they stop numbering movies because they go, people are gonna stop coming in for these. Like I don't.
Except you were talking about this last time. That's only Iron Man.
Iron Man, but that's what I'm trying to think. What was the last comic movie like in the past 5 years that was something too? You know, like I feel like comic movies have been trying to get away from. Not a comic book movie, right? You know, so don't bring up the movie. That movie is like the last few seasons of Dexter.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that movie. I don't know why I said it.
But I think they just did it because they wanted to have a cool title that wasn't 3. So people would jump on. Because I think they wanted people to jump on because I think they did want the Night Stalkers to be a thing. So it's like, more inviting, like, hey, you don't need to see the other 2. And you really don't because Whistler dies right away and his daughters. So, like, you don't need to see the other 2. So, yeah.
How do you guys feel about the whole, like with Blade 1, they had a vampire god, essentially, which is, I think that's pretty big, and, you know, it makes me wonder if that's like an OG vampire kind of source, and then they just swoop in Dracula, so do you think the 2 enemies are connected?
Okay.
Drake, yeah, I'm old school, I guess.
I don't think they're connected. I think Dracula's a separate entity and he's more powerful because he's the first, right?
But then where do you think the vampire god came from in the first movie?
Well, there's multiple gods, you know. There's the god of thunder, there's the god of rock and roll, you know.
Hinduism has hundreds of gods.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. I can believe there's like I'm not getting into a religious session, but in this world I could believe that there's, and even then, they're calling it a vampire god, but it could just be some spiritual cursing. It's just like what religions make up, right? Like,
did you not see the alternate ending where he turned into a blood monster?
I did watch that.
I mean, you know, that's not an original vampire thing. That's a god thing.
Like technically, I can say I have Travisism, and I'm making this WrestleMania 29 a god, like this right there, and people will come and worship it for years. So,
well,
that's how fun religion is.
So you mean it's just some power that was able to be tapped into by vampires, then?
No, I just mean like
it as a god.
Well, yeah, they had like that whole.
Call of like people, like right in the first one.
Well, I was talking. They have like that huge sanctum, like that whole building that's kind of meant to infuse energy and stuff, and it has like blood seeping through the walls, right? So I feel like it's just kind of a pretty pimped out place. So that's maybe where the power comes from.
And it sounds better to say vampire god than vampire guy, you know. So.
Yeah.
Well, even in like the Christian religion, there's a god, and then there's the first like Adam and Eve. So there's still 2 separate entities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, so I don't think like I don't think it's a thing they have to retcon, like, oh, because we did a god, this is another god. It's just
well, I wouldn't say it was like retconning it, but I just was wondering where the two stood next to each other, I guess, in this trilogy, because they both are very, like, I mean, they're both very, very powerful, like, for the vampires.
Well, I feel like anything, because it's the final one, they're gonna say that Dracula / Drake is the most powerful, so it's gonna be more powerful than this vampire god thing. Even though, you know, very powerful vampire decides to sword fight. Doesn't make much sense in the final battle, but you know, whatever. That's Drake.
Because Blade is the only one that knows about the honor of the sword.
I know, they try to tie that in, but it's just like, it makes no sense.
He went back into that police station to go get his sword.
Yeah.
You know, that sick one-liner.
That was cool. I like when he flips out and, you know.
Yeah. I was joking. That wasn't a good one-liner.
I like the scene though. Maybe he'd go back for his sword. And yeah, I'll shut that. Yeah, CGI.
I mean, his name is a synonym of sword, so I mean, he has to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
I thought the disintegrations were better in this movie.
Yeah,
so
they were getting down that technology.
Yeah, so if they
Just
do
in time
now,
to never use it again.
yeah. So, yeah.
So you guys mentioned you like the setup of, I guess, them getting Blade to kill a human as opposed to a vampire. To me, the plan didn't really make a whole lot of sense, I guess. So they have like 15 they have like a bunch of vampires. I guess they're just sacrificing all of them, and that guy also just wanted to sacrifice his life, and that's how
they were vampires. The guys that Blade were killing.
But well, he's pointing out that why would all the vampires
I thought they
willingly die? Because there were all the vampires.
They were all vampires except for the last guy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they... Because do we get clarification for sure that they gave themselves up, said, I'll be killed, or did they just tip Blade off, like Parker Posey, and just say, hey, we're going to send these vampires on a mission, and then we're going to tell Blade, hey, these people are, like, out there, go kill them. Like, I'm saying those vampires maybe didn't know they were going to get killed. That's
that guy who did get killed, he knew.
Yeah, because he's a familiar, right? So he's just probably thinking, oh, I'll become some vampire god if I die, right? You know, some religious zealot thing.
Okay.
See, don't plant me in that corner.
Yeah.
I won't say that the opening is good. I think the idea of the cops and the law enforcement after Blade is a great idea. I like, even though I'll agree it's a little convoluted, I like the idea of, oh, they set him up, he kills a human. I wish they got a bit more into that, but still, he kills a human, cops are after him. They catch him very quickly, and it's very anticlimactic. Like, Blade doesn't even put up a fight at all. He just, Whistler gets taken out, it's like, done. So I thought the idea of, okay, law enforcement after Blade, that could be good, because if you get that as a superhero movie, Dark Knight, Daredevil, it works, but it's gone really quickly, and then they just kill the cops. They're like, yeah, we want you in here. And it's like, oh. But I like the idea of the opening. I thought it started good, and then it just plateaued.
Yeah, I think I just felt that was kind of a weird setup. Like, I don't know. I guess the plan does make sense, but when I was watching it, I just felt like it was strangely written. Like, I feel like there could have been 100 better ways to make that, like, a more interesting situation, perhaps.
I can't say you're wrong.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the opening action, too. I love the opening, obviously, the bloodbath scene in Blade 1 and Blade 2. I like the motorcycle chasing. This felt very anticlimactic to me. For me, all the action scenes in this movie didn't work out. Like, there's that one scene of Ryan Reynolds and Triple H just fighting against a wall for, like, an hour where he just has them up there and it just seems like they're going nowhere. And he'll just, like, punch him, he'll slam him another wall, punch him, and then they quip at each other. It was like... I felt like I was in a fucking time vortex. Like,
that's gonna tell you why you're wrong right
no,
now.
That's just another
comic book scene.
You remind me with Triple H and when Ryan Reynolds is like talking to him or talking to Blade and is like, yeah, we pretty sure we saved your life back there. And Blade's like, what? Back there? Yeah. He's like.
For the audio listeners, he was mimicking Blade when he was saying Ryan Reynolds' character was getting choked. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I don't know. I do like the scene in the subway when you're first introduced to Whistler's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, her like randomly getting the boot sword out and.
Nice setup with the fake baby and everything like that. I liked that.
Yeah.
You know, fuck you.
You do get introduced to her like bow.
Hotter than the hotter.
Half as hot as the sun.
Half as hot as the sun. Come on,
the
now.
CGI on that thing was pretty bad. Like her holding it was like clipping through her hand. I was like, whoa. I think I'm playing Elder Scrolls here. What's happening?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was a great line. But no, I like that setup. I think there's some alright moments in this movie. I think it just doesn't string together as a solid adventure.
That was a cool scene, though, that you mentioned at the beginning with the subway and everything, because I remember the first time watching this movie, not knowing what to expect all those years ago, and I thought she is totally toast. Like, they're just gonna murder this baby. They got like a thing for killing the babies in this movie because Drake almost killed another baby.
Yeah, they do, and they threaten that little girl's life too.
Mm-hmm.
Which I did like that scene, like, oh, I'm gonna starve you, and like I liked that idea. Like, okay, that seems like would be a good punishment. But yeah, they're really obsessed with kid killing in this movie. So
It really gets the hormones just
It just makes me
activated.
think of that kid being thrown into the ice cream cart, and I think that's what it was, right? In the first one.
oh
Like,
yeah,
takes out the
right.
pictures and
Yeah.
just
Wait,
chucks
no,
it.
yeah,
Chuck
throw-
him 50
yeah,
feet.
right. They've always been into this.
That was a classic scene.
Yeah, I wonder if these guys wrote Mother, you know, so.
It's a real long con there.
Wow.
So when the cops find Blade and Whistler's hideout, how did they find their hideout?
He tracked Whistler. Whistler went to get a newspaper at that stand.
It's such
Whistler,
a lame
what are
way,
you
know?
doing?
That's what I mean. I wish there was some way where the cops figure out they're tracked. Like, to me, there's a great movie.
We've been tracking them for years.
There's a great start of this movie where Blade kills that guy. He runs off. When he runs off to the night, he just disappears. But there's a great 10-minute set piece of him on a motorcycle outrun the cops and then them finding him. But they just cut to like, oh, they find him. So
Well, like, it's funny because Whistler does tell Blade, like, you're getting sloppy, Blade. And it shows Whistler going to the
Whistler
stand
fucking
and gets
sucks.
that leads the cops to the hideout.
even in Blade 2, like him getting cornered by those guys in the sewer, like Whistler's more trouble than he's worth sometimes, you know.
But he doesn't lead that on though to Blade. He says, "I've been doing this
Oh yeah.
since before you were born, Blade."
He just acts like his shit doesn't sting at all for years, but other vampire hunters are like Blade or Whistler. Fuck, he sucks, man.
Big
Like,
ego on that guy.
that's why Abigail left him. Like, you just keep getting us caught. I like that they brought up his mother in the interrogation room. Like, how's the relationship with your mother? I was like, oof.
But then they
Sore
say
spot.
that he had wasn't he obsessed with her, like in a weird way?
Well, he's like, you must have mommy issues, and yeah, he says something like, yeah, something like you, and they lay it on thick.
Is sucking blood turn you on? It's like a sexual
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, they laid it on thick as could be. So
Yeah, that guy was weird. That whole interrogation. Very
yeah.
strange.
I was disappointed because I'm a big James Remar fan who plays Harry and Dexter. I thought he was gonna be in it more, and he's in like 3 scenes. He's like the beginning, there's a scene in the middle, and then the end. And
Do we know his cop name in this? Is it actually like Officer Morgan?
then, no, it's Ray Cumberland.
Oh, damn.
So not that close. Yep. Where we
great
want to go?
being a cop.
Where we want to go next? Oh, Triple H at one point has a line where he says they pretty much ass raped us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very interesting.
What?
Not a line that would fly today, ladies and gentlemen.
What did
I can't remember the setup. It was just like,
It
oh, we
was-
got
it
our
was
ass
after-
kicked, I think.
It
And
was
he's like,
after he
ass
pulled
kicked.
the arrow, and he's like, "We
Yeah.
got our ass kicked." He's like, "They pretty much ass raped us." And then the girl Danica is like, "Oh, you loved it," or something.
You know, at first when you're talking to me, you talked me into liking this movie more, but now you're talking me into hating this movie more. Because I remember how bad some of these scenes were.
Well, there's like the other one,
It's
like
very reminiscent of Suicide Squad, actually.
there was that other scene too in the interrogation room with Hannibal King, and they keep mentioning
He's in there
Dick.
forever, too.
He is, but it's such a great sequence. He's like, he keeps mentioning Dick, and she's like, "Everyone stop saying Dick. It provokes my envy." I don't even understand that really. Like,
Well,
it's
talking
just-
about
Dick
penis
envy.
envy.
Yeah, it's like a
It's a
double
thing.
entendre kind of joke, you know.
what's
No,
the
it's like
thing?
an
Double
actual
entendre.
thing.
What?
It's like an actual thing that early psychologists were like
No, but I
all
mean,
into that.
but I
They're
mean, like,
yeah.
her, that's, she's
All women just want a penis and they're jealous of men and it's really stupid.
Well, I think
Psychology
she's
has a
joking about that as-
troubled past.
the double entendre is because of that, but then also because, like, they're dick measuring each other, like, trying to see who's tougher, so she's trying to, you know.
That's a
Oh,
stretch.
okay.
Travis.
That's not a stretch. There's 3 guys, like, trying to... The other thing I love that her brother is, like, I wouldn't say vital character in this movie, but whatever, he is a vital character. Like, he's a part of the bad guys. He literally just gets killed in a hallway, and that's it. Like, they just get shot by arrow. By
At least he dies on screen. Whistler doesn't even die on screen.
No. And then, yeah, I was very shocked by that. They just killed him. Like, this
They-
movie gives no fucks about people.
They hinted at there was a relationship between Danica and her vampire brother. Do you believe that?
Like, fucking?
Oh, easy.
Oh, easily.
Oh,
Like,
okay. I thought it
You
was
can
just
see it in the background.
I thought it was a-
Blade's
Insults.
mom was gonna bang him in the first play. They have no problem with incest. They were the Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones.
I thought it
happened,
was just
you know?
an insult that was thrown out there.
No, Danica, I think she's fucked everybody, you know, and that's fine. But the way they portray her, like, she's definitely fucking Triple H. She fucked Hannibal King, so, like, she's just, you know, if you were mortal, that's what you're gonna do, you know, like,
Why not?
yeah. You
Well,
I
gotta-
don't
Drake-
think she's
Drake
contracting
wasn't-
any STDs.
Drake
She already
wasn't
has
doing that.
vampirisms.
What? Yeah, but Drake's a little weird guy, you know.
But he's like definitely immortal. Like he's lived so long.
I know. I'm saying he's like a weird guy. Like
his natural form is like some weird blood beast.
Yeah, he's not like the rest of us. So
He tries to be.
yeah.
At one scene, Blade has like these sick like whip knife things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, what are those called?
With knives.
Whip knives. Technical term.
I'm gonna look it up.
I don't know what they're called, but it was cool. He used them very briefly, and then he never used them again. But it was still like cool to see him have some new tech. Spice up the fight scenes a little bit. And that's pretty much all the notes I had. So what else do you got over there, Travis?
I thought all of Ryan Reynolds' voiceover scenes sucked whenever they'd cut to him and be like, Drake is this guy who's a vampire and he's been around for years but we couldn't catch him. And like, it felt like if someone made a fan film of Deadpool and was the bad version, you know, like it felt like someone that doesn't know how to write Deadpool and just like, you know, we were all on a rudder until Blade came along and he saved us all. Like, it was just fuck.
Yeah.
It was tough. And it's very strange to have a side character being the main narrator of the movie at
Closing
times.
out and starting the movie.
Yeah. And like for a guy that wasn't even that vital of a role, like
Yeah, he was mostly just like quipping the whole time. Like
yeah, like it's not something like Lord of the Rings where okay, obviously Fro's not narrating, but to me Galadriel narrating made sense. You know, like she's almost like a storyteller where he's not someone in the past. Like he's in this little adventure. It was a strange choice. I don't know. I'd have to look at some trivia and whatnot. And even then, who knows? It just this movie felt like very similar when we see movies like Justice League or Squad to me, where I felt like it had multiple rewrites because it had a similar tone, but it just had very different vibes of where it was going. Just of like the voiceover, then like okay, we're starting with the cops, and then oh no, there's this vampire, and then there's like the villains of okay, Danica, right? Mm-hmm. Danica and her crew and Drake. They didn't really interact that much other than the middle they find each other, but they both had these different goals, so it felt like there's a bunch of movies put together. What?
How could you can buy it?
Steel Chain Whip, 1995 on Pinterest.
Nice. But it felt like there was just multiple plot
I don't
points
buy
in this
my
movie.
weapons on Pinterest. I have a strict rule against that.
Along with the Night Stalkers, it just felt like a bunch of storylines that they couldn't pick one, so like, let's just do them all and it'll be a great movie. It's like, yeah.
Not very interconnected.
No, don't do that.
Doesn't have that world building aspect that you mentioned in the second one.
Yeah.
Viking.
Have you watched the alternate ending?
Of this movie?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know there was an alternate ending.
Apparently there is. I haven't watched it. I just reading.
No, I don't think I care enough to go look, you know, so.
No.
The baby scene, that was awful when Drake abducts the baby, and then half that scene he's talking, the baby's just a plastic baby, and I didn't understand why Drake... why does he just throw the baby and disappear? Like, what was his reasoning for running away
Well,
from
he
Blade
wanted to get
moment?
Blade on his side. That was his goal. You can tell that
But
throughout
clearly
the
Blade
final
says, no,
fight
I'm not
scene.
going to do it.
But even until the very end, the final fight scene, he's still trying to convince him to join up and that
Fair enough.
we're not like other people. They don't understand us.
Green Goblin,
He got
Spider-Man.
Very Green Goblin.
He got the baby, I think, to just create that standoff moment because he knew in any other situation Blade would go full craziness on him. So.
But I feel like Drake, the way they portrayed him so far, is like he could somewhat take Blade, you know, and then he just felt like a little bitch in that scene, and I don't know, it was.
Well, he was popping off on Blade in the final fight until Abigail
showed up.
Abby, whatever her name was,
You got
started
it.
sniping him with the green goo,
Yeah, the virus.
the mystical
whatever,
monster
yeah.
destroyer.
Not the official name, folks.
No, it is.
You almost added Trinity of M's.
Ay, 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 so close. I give up.
There was at one point where I can't remember who said this line. Was that Park Posey or somebody? They were talking to that girl they
It's
abducted.
not even a real name.
Yeah, I don't. I bet it's not Judy
I
Jerkinster.
think I know what you're gonna
Judy
say.
Turpentine.
You, only Scream fans will get that joke. They just go to the little girl they kidnapped, and they just like, wouldn't you want to be a child forever? And I feel like with that line and many other lines in the movie, instead of like subtly hinting around stuff, they just say character motivations to people, you know, like, don't you want to live forever, and like, don't you like being a vampire? Like, they say things like that multiple times in the movies. Like, they don't even ask the characters, they just say this is your motivation, they do it. But it was very strange.
Well, that scene, I really get a kick out of that because when the first scene,
Oh,
first scene with the little girl and Drake's like, "Tell me, child, do you want to die?" It's like,
Yeah,
whoa.
exactly. That's I mean. Like there's like they just get so to the point in everything, and it's not like they're well run these characters. It's just like, what can we write here that's like really sophisticated, like a good conversation about him threatening this little girl? I don't know. Just get him to ask her if he wants to die. Okay, like look at, maybe it's because it's a 10-year anime, but look at something like the Dark Knight, that interrogation scene. It's so subtle and has so many little nuances in the scene. You want to die, little girl? You want to live forever, little girl? Like it just happens so many times in this movie.
So you mean like should Jacob like punch the girl's hand and?
No, I mean like let's get some real dialogue, or not even have this in the movie. You don't do that first. The victim gets all fuzzy.
Yeah, you should have punched
My
her.
friends are coming to kill you.
They're not your friends, bitch.
Your
I
mom's
think-
dead.
I think it was
Wow,
funny how
sad.
she was like.
Was it her mom?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I
funny
slept.
how she's like, you're the Gnome King, and Drake's like, oh, that's cute, the Gnome King or whatever. And some good dialogue between the two.
No, that's not good dialogue at all. Drake had no good dialogue.
Well, he's not really-
What was that you just said? Even that didn't
And like,
make
he's a
sense.
guy that's been what? He was asleep for 5,000 years, they said?
At
Yeah,
least.
so he's obviously
And he
not
just speak-
experienced talking to kids.
No, but most of he speaks, it just sounds like he's from today and he's from like maybe Britain or
Well,
something.
he's good at conforming.
He doesn't.
He's very smart. He can learn a language in 5 minutes.
I hated when they had Animal King all tied up and then they start coughing and they're like, what's going on? He's like, we put silver in the AC. So for the whole like 50 hours that Animal King's in there, the AC's fine, but the second he says that, the entire room, the silver coming through the AC is in massive chunks that you can see everywhere. So apparently they didn't see this, or the timing of it, Animal King just knows the right time, but he said he'd been pumping it for a while. That was cheesy and so bad.
Quite
Like, and then
cheesy.
they're just coughing and yeah, bad.
Doesn't seem like a very powerful effect because the one guy coughed flames, but it didn't. It kind of died. There was like that lull, and then Blade came through, which is good.
Yeah.
Came through
Count on
really well.
Blade. What else you got, Travis?
The only thing I kind of liked is when Reynolds did outsmart those dogs and he gave them the middle finger and then he just walked back in that hole and he fell backwards. I thought that was kind of fun.
Have you
But
seen my dog? Have you checked the lobby?
Great dialogue.
that's legitimately all I got because this movie, a whole bunch of nothing happened for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, an hour and 53 to be exact.
To
But
be exact, yeah.
I don't have anything else.
Jessica, Taylor.
Shout out to the.
You have anything else?
Not necessarily. I'm not gonna lie, I really didn't make notes on this movie.
Ay. You can't say that. Makes us look unprofessional.
Oh, so I made so many notes, but I forgot them because I wrote them on paper. Sorry, guys.
They'll believe it. They won't. Maybe they will.
That was very
You gotta
confusing.
specify.
Yeah, the listeners have
The
no
microphone folk will believe it, but the camera folk won't.
Microfolk.
The microphone, I like
The
it.
microfolk.
Boom. Breaking barriers here at the GB Izzle.
I don't know. I thought that all the one-liners that are really terrible. I just thought it was funny, terrible.
Mm,
Uh,
that's good.
so
I wish I had that sensation.
I don't know. That's probably part of why I liked it too. Is I did, even though it was really forced and some of it didn't come across, I did like the attempted humor in it. I actually found it more entertaining than the humor that was used in the other ones. And I felt this one, I don't know, I just felt like it was a funner ride, whether or not it was executed as well as it could be.
Mm-hmm.
But I did feel that the other ones, I don't know, I didn't find the pacing quite as exciting, whereas this one, it was, they're breaking into the cop shop and then there's a fight here, and I don't know, I just felt like there was a kind of more going on, that it was funner to follow. I don't know. Could just be the generation in which it was filmed too.
I can see.
So.
I can see what you're saying.
I think it definitely, when
Are
it
we
was
doing?
filmed.
Are you guys doing final thoughts?
No.
Okay.
I'm just piggybacking.
Just about you guys, the way it was sounding.
I think the way it was filmed, like with that for that generation, I think is good because especially the way Ryan Reynolds is she listens to her MP3s, whatever the kids listen to these days. I feel like that was like a shout out to the generation of that time.
I don't think it was a shout out. I
Nanos.
think that's just a line about stuff that's happening, and now it's a shout out because we're 10
Well,
years away later.
back then, that's what people were doing.
I think they
downloading
just-
on the MP3s.
Yeah, but I think they wrote it as like, this is how people listen to music. I don't think they we got to shout out this generation because they listen to MP3. I think it's just like, when you take out, when someone would say like, hey, like, I drove my car to work, and then we'd be like, right now, let's say 10 years from now, we didn't have cars. Be like, oh man, they showed up cars in that generation. You're like, no, I think it's just something like they had.
That's what was happening in
Yeah.
2003.
Yeah. I don't, judging by the script, I don't think that the nuance be like, we gotta shout out this generation. I don't think this movie was.
But weren't people doing that in 2003?
They were. That's my point. It's like a shout out would be if you are shouting out something specifically. If it's almost like if you did a time travel movie, right? And now, if you did the time travel movie, you went back 10 years, and they specifically like, oh, get my MP3. That'd be a shout because it's old and nostalgia.
Get my MP3.
Yeah, it'd be old nostalgia. In 2004, that's just something people listened to. So I don't think it was a shout. I think it was just. I don't think they did that to timestamp the movie to be like, oh, we got to say MP3 so people know this happened in 2004. I think it's just that's what people listen to, and they just put that in the dialogue.
Wouldn't that be a shout out to it?
No.
Isn't it like
Well,
when
just
something
agree
cool,
to disagree.
something cool happens like right now, and then we do a shout out?
I don't think MP3 though was something cool that happened. I just think that was like the radio. I think that was just the new way to listen to things. I think if someone talked about like 3 years ago, if they talked about Gangnam Style, then yeah, that's a shout out to like. That's something like Deadpool will be interesting to watch in 15 years because when they make a Mama June joke, are people gonna get that joke in 15 years? That is like a shout out. But
So
MP3,
shout outs only apply to things that have already happened in the past.
Well, it's about the intention.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they didn't write that out to shout out. They just wrote that in because that's what people listen to.
Yeah, it wasn't like, doing it on her MP3 because we've moved up from CD players,
Yeah.
or she's all fancied, she doesn't have a CD player. It wasn't a specific, like, focus on this MP3. It was a line that should have just been passed over, and...
Mm-hmm.
I guess I looked way too far into this.
Yeah.
It's the same way as, like, the way you think of cliffhanger is not real, you know? Like, you think every time a movie ends, that's a cliffhanger, but it's like, no.
Your fucking cliffhanger for
Yeah, would
13
you describe
Reasons
this
Why.
movie as a cliffhanger?
It was, we had to describe it to you, but in 13 Reasons Why they do a cliffhanger, but then they answer right away, but then Taylor's like, wow, that cliffhanger, but it's like, no, but they answered it. So it's like I said, it's like, if I go to kill someone and then they cut, that's a cliffhanger. But if I go to kill someone and then I get arrested, that's not a cliffhanger. It's like, oh, Travis got
That's still a
arrested.
cliffhanger.
No, no, it's not.
would
They
you
resolved
say-
the problem.
Taylor, would you say this movie is a cliffhanger because it's like, Blade's still out there? So you think this is a cliffhanger?
So what the only way would be Blade would have to die, right?
Yeah.
So every X-Men movie is a
Because
cliffhanger until Logan for Wolverine.
They
is what you're saying?
pose the
I think for it
question.
to be a cliffhanger, it has to set up like what is gonna happen next.
Yeah.
Or what could happen.
But they
Like, what would
pose
happen
the-
in Blade 4? Right? We don't know, but if Green Goblin
It's
showed
like
up...
if they were
Yeah,
like,
Blade!
Blade's nowhere to be found, but he's somewhere in Canada doing some stuff.
Well, they
Yeah,
pose
like-
the problem like, okay, this virus or this serum could kill Blade.
But it doesn't.
It doesn't, so it sets it up for the cliffhanger.
No,
for a
it
sequel.
answered the
because
question.
He didn't
It'd be-
die.
no, it'd be
Hang on,
different.
hang on.
No,
It
no.
sets it up that he's gonna die probably from this thing, but he doesn't. Boom,
no.
cliffhanger.
No, that's not a cliffhanger.
No.
It's the same... Okay,
No.
here's another example, because...
Because you don't need another movie to answer that. You already have the answer.
Exactly, because that's the thing. It would been. This is how you would have done it. Is would Blade have died? We don't know. We haven't seen him yet. And then we just go, oh, maybe he's out there. And then ends with us not knowing if Blade lived or died.
Right?
Right?
The cliffhanger sets up that we don't know what he's gonna do now. Because even like Hannibal Cage's
No,
like,
that's
what
No,
are you
just-
gonna...
but that's...
That's any
that-
movie ever.
Yeah.
That's just a
A
thing.
cliffhanger is like a direct problem or a direct issue that is like Infinity War, something like that, where it ends and you're like, wow, what could happen next? Yes, any movie
Like,
ends with
that
like,
like if Blade took that antidote, then the movie cuts to black, and you don't know if it's gonna kill him or not.
yeah, yeah,
There's a cliffhanger.
exactly.
Yes.
But like just the story progressing, that like when we go to bed, it's not like a cliffhanger every time, you know. Like if I text you and said, "Hey Taylor, I'm going to bed," okay, great, Travis. If I text you and said, "Hey, there's robbers here," and then you didn't hear from me, that would be a cliffhanger because you didn't know if I survived that night. or
There's
not.
some robbers. I feel like the last thing I would do in that situation is say, hey.
I feel like we did a Netflix and fail where someone texts somebody or phones somebody and was like, "There's robbers in the house" or something. But yeah, so cliffhanger is like an issue that's not resolved. Yes, there's more vampires out there, but it's still okay. We know Blade's just hunting him. With the virus, if they had not answered that, then we wouldn't know. Oh, is Blade gonna die or not? He's not gonna die because he's riding in some weird CGI traffic scene where he's in the middle of the fucking street and all the cars are whizzing by him. It's a really
He's
weird
fucking
scene.
with the space-time continuum.
Yeah. Space time for sure.
Anyway,
Are you done, Taylor, or you want to bring up something?
Any
Cliffhanger?
other words of shout out, cliffhanger, anything else we need to educate you on?
I don't know. We'll see when we get to the Halloween retros.
Oh boy. That's gonna be fun.
Gosh, what else was there with this movie? I don't know.
What else was there?
I think it was very cool that the vampires there's just different kind of branches out there, and this one is just own all these companies and they're just trying to expand and everything. You know,
I love those
marketing,
vampires.
capitalism.
Is that it for your nerd?
I think.
yeah.
I've said everything.
Why did you need to say that?
I've said everything I need to this movie. It's a 4 out of 10 for me. Couldn't give it the pass.
Oh, we're
at
doing
least.
final ratings and everything here. Okay, let's go.
And then I want to throw Dylan next because obviously he's probably the lowest. But then I also want to ask him a question because he did not enjoy this trilogy.
No, I didn't.
If you go back, I did predict. Hashtag Travis told you like, Dylan.
Yeah, but if you just know something's bad, it's like, well, I'm probably gonna think it's bad as well.
People like Blade 1 and 2. The comic book community looks at them and goes, "Those are good comic book
praise
movies."
Yeah, I don't identify with the comic book community.
That's
so.
true.
Oh, what a cliffhanger.
What
Oh, cliffhanger.
what would obviously you don't give numbers, so you don't have to do this.
I
But
could if you want, because
No.
I don't care about Blade enough that if it's a tarnished rating, then
I wanted you to rank the trilogy.
Okay, so
'Cause you've seen,
I
like, you
mentioned
just
I was
liked all
fuzzy
of
on the
them.
first one. I
Yeah.
watched it about a month ago. Blade 2 I watched last week, and I don't remember anything from it at all. Awful movie. Complete garbage. I'd probably put number 2 at the bottom. Complete garbage.
Wow.
I'd put that number 2, or I'd put number 2 on the bottom. Down there in the bottom of the dumpster underneath the old peanut butter and other garbage paraphernalia. And then right above that, I don't know, dude. Above that, because I remember after watching the first one, I was like, okay, this wasn't great, but like, I'm curious to see what happens next. And so I think for that reason, I'd have to put that one at number 1. So I'll put Trinity, right in the middle, and then the first movie at number 1.
Okay.
But like a low number 1. Like if that's my high point, like maximum 5. Like you could argue for a 6, but like that's about it. And then the other movies, they fall far beneath there. I can't give them a 0. They're not the worst movies I've ever seen. I've seen many worse movies for sure. Netflix and fail. Shouts to you. And I'm never gonna watch these movies again. Very disappointing.
Unless we get the what was it? The donations within how many hours?
We need 1,000 subscribers.
It's like 4 days.
In
No,
4 days.
hours. I thought you said 4 hours.
No, I said 4 days.
Oh, okay.
4 days.
And you'll do it?
But that's like after this comes out like to the public for free.
Yeah, and like our current subscriber count, although not high, doesn't count to 1,000. It's
Oh.
1,000 brand new, fresh off the street.
I don't think it's happening, ladies.
Yeah.
Oh darn! I'm really looking forward to this. Anyway, so I'm done with Blade. You guys finish, and then I'm out of here.
One scene I forgot to mention on this very short retro. That one
We've been
scene.
going for an hour.
Yeah,
That's Geek First Classic.
I feel like that's pretty short for.
I think it's actually one of the longer Blade retros. All of them have been pretty short.
It just shows how great this series is.
Amazing trilogy.
I don't think it's that they're that bad. I just think they're pretty simplistic movies, and there's not too much to talk about. No one ever has too much development, unfortunately.
So one scene that I wanted to shout out, but someone just like went straight into final thoughts.
I wonder who that was.
The one scene where they are in like the blood bank, and then he goes to the chick and he's like, "What's the password to shut it down?" And Harvest, put it in, and then he just like walks away, and it was just like the most random thing. Like he just doesn't even say anything else to her, doesn't kill her, no idea if
Well,
she's
she's
like.
probably gonna die anyways, because if she's a familiar, so she goes home, the vampires can be like, "Hey, what happened to the factory? Why did you shut it down?" She's like, "Well, Blade came there." Like, "Well, Blade didn't kill you. Well, I'm gonna kill you now."
Yeah,
so.
but why wouldn't
Surprise.
he kill her? Because according to him with the last guy, he'll get more enjoyment. Motherfucker, I'll kill you. I'll
Yeah,
get
that guy
more
was
enjoyment.
pissing him off though, because he's like, technically we're doing the country a service, you know. We take them off the streets and solving the homeless problem for America.
I just thought it was a weird scene.
I felt very like connected.
There was a
at that
cliffhanger
moment.
about what happened to that girl.
That is a cliffhanger.
That is a
We'll never
cliffhanger.
know.
I felt very though sympathetic for Blade though in that whole moment when they're just like observing this harvest thing going on, and when Blade's like, you got 20 seconds, and he starts running and he stands there and he looks down and he's like 20, and then he shoots them. I felt like this was actually like Blade being really triggered. Like, why would a human, accept this? And I really like this in the story that Blade, he didn't say much, but just his actions and what he did just displayed so much emotion. And I really like that.
Than words.
Yeah, I like that development from him and his character that he threw up on there.
What would you order them as? The trilogy?
It's trilogy, I go Blade 2, 3, and 1.
Like from bottom to top or top to bottom?
Like choose your favorite?
Yeah, I really like 2. I like the horror theme for it. Like I said throughout every episode, I really enjoy it. But Blade 3, I love pre-Deadpool, Hannibal King, and I love what the Blade's lines in this, and the wrestler Triple H again, another triple in this movie. The Trinity.
I made that joke, Taylor. Don't be that guy.
I'm just making sure that people remember.
No, you stole that from me.
Huge shout outs to Dylan.
No, I'm just kidding. You can steal all my jokes. Even if they're not jokes. You can steal it.
But yeah, I think. What did I give Blade 2?
I don't know.
Like 100? I don't know.
I think you gave it like 9 actually.
Was
Really?
It high?
Or
Did
did you give it lower than
I think I
me?
gave it like a 7
Yeah,
something.
7
Yeah.
sounds
This
Very
movie
strange for
deserves-
movies you love that are
For the
sevens.
Trinity, it deserves a 3. So I'd give it a 3. I'm gonna give this movie a 3.
3 ones. I would give this a.
So 111 out of 10.
3 1.
I would
Well,
give.
yeah, that's what it was. It was like 9 or 7 out of 5 out of 10.
Right.
That's what you're rating.
7 out of 5 out of 10. I would give this exactly 1 point underneath my Blade 2 score because I really like
6
this.
out of 5 out of 10.
7 out of 4 out of 10.
Divided
Yeah,
by
I think
5.
he did give it 7.5.
So yeah, right underneath because this movie's great and I honestly
6.5. Great. We
I
have different
I mean, he loves these movies. They're at it. He's giving them both like 7 or lower. Like I don't say there's any 7 out of 10 movie I love. I could say I really like it, but love.
this is a movie that easily I'm gonna watch within probably the next year.
Hour.
I went to a garage sale actually on the weekend.
Have you seen like Trinity?
And I saw
Looking for Blade VHS.
I saw a copy of Blade 2 and I'm like, oh, I already did the retro, and the condition was poor, so I thought I'm not gonna buy it in poor condition. But whenever I'm at Value Village, I'm looking for the Blade 1, 2, or
Even
Trinity.
even if the disc was clean, it'd still be in bad condition. Anyway.
I can't argue with
I
that.
don't know. It's on. You gotta just
No,
go
you
on
can't.
that Amazon. It's on there.
On
We looked
Amazon?
it up for you last time.
I don't want to order though. I want to get like.
I like to find it. I like to
Yeah.
hold it in my hand before I purchase it.
Do you feel like Blade hunting for vampires? Just hunting for that DVD?
Yeah, it's a way that I can connect with Wesley Snipes. So
You could also go to
You could
jail
just
to do
you
that.
could just get incarcerated. And
He's not in jail
how would
now.
I get incarcerated?
There's
Tax
a
evasion.
lot of ways. There's a
Tax
list
evasion?
somewhere.
That's how he went to prison.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't pay his taxes.
Oh Jesus!
All his Blade money.
Yeah.
So if you don't pay your Geek First bills, if you don't put that stuff on the tax return, you're done for.
Travis doesn't give me the mail anymore.
Nope.
So
Don't trust him. Keep spending on Blade. Fucking merchandise.
That's
Blade 2
That's what we
VHS.
should do with our first paycheck. Just buy the Blade collection.
No.
Nope,
Why would we
definitely
do
not.
that
Not
at
gonna
all?
support you in
That's
this.
the last thing I want to purchase.
would you invest in buying the rights for the Blade?
If the rights were up for sale,
Yeah, if it was like
$50, sure.
Yeah, $50.
Yeah,
Why not?
Kyle would make a great Blade.
Blade's amazing wizard.
Oh yeah! Oh fuck! I want to see that movie so bad. Oh man.
And Taylor, you'd be a great vampire.
Would I? Which vampire?
Would he? I think he'd be like the main enemy.
Dylan has to go to his
Like
hair and
Drake, or
Scud.
the
Yeah.
You're not playing Drake. I think you're playing the weird infested one from Blade 2. You know.
You would be Triple H.
Yo, definitely hit the fans.
Oh my god.
And you have to be Jessica Biel's character, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only option,
Whatever
really.
her name is. So
That
you be
means
Tyler
Kirk-
Briggs'
that-
daughter. How does that make you feel?
I mean, Kirkland has to be Hannibal King. Not only Kirkland has the
The chops.
chops to pull it off, but
You gotta get Ruben to do it. Very bump.
And who's Tyler?
Oh my god.
What did you say?
that was the first one after.
Did you
Paul.
say it? Oh Mark, did you say it?
He's Whistler. He's my dad.
Oh, okay.
Justin, give us your final thoughts so we can get the fuck out of here on this retro.
Uh,
Let's disintegrate this.
I don't know. still the best one out of the trilogy. But I'm never gonna watch them ever again.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a
Whoa.
bold claim. Do you actually? Is that true?
I have not watched them since the first time I watched them.
No. Okay.
And
So you have that nostalgia eye. so,
Yeah, exactly. And the only reason I watched them again was because of this.
Mm-hmm.
And now they will go back into the forgotten about pile, never to be watched.
But then maybe you'll forget, and in 20 years, you know, maybe you can't find these episodes, probably buried deep within the Geekverse archives, and you might, you might say, hey, I gotta watch these movies again.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
Whereas I have such a strong negative reaction with these movies that I know I'll never watch them. Anyway.
You know what? I will just say, you know, I paid my dues. I rented one for
You did.
$3.99. So know.
You know, they're probably surprised, like, wow, where did this money come from? Did someone rent Blade 1?
I bet it happens more often. It still was a popular movie. I don't throw it up there with X-Men, but it was in that trilogy of Blade, X-Men, and Spider-Man all happened, so comic movies were coming back. I think it's too horror-ish, this whole franchise, to be really revitalized comic book franchise. But even in that vein, too, it's one of the, before Black Panther, like, very few black superheroes were out there, right? And it has a big place in that culture because there was not many or any of them. You had fucking Shaq as Steel, which is an awful movie, and these were successful except for the third one, which was the lowest rated in box office wise. But it's just that even then, it's still, you know, it was he is an icon of swords, you know, not a huge icon, but
Wait, he was an icon of blades.
What? No, I won't go that far. No.
I know what you're...
That was good.
Okay, well. Okay, well, are we ready to...
Go home?
Yeah.
Okay, where can they find, if you're interested in some good Marvel movies, you can go back to the original Marvel retrospective where we did every MCU movie up until Ant-Man. We'll do the other ones eventually at some point. We have a 5-year rule, you know?
And we got some Spider-Man retro.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be coming back soon for the non-Patreon people, so hopefully...
Is there any retros coming out for that sweet Aquaman?
There may or may not be. We haven't decided when.
Little Mermaid.
Nice! And...
We haven't decided when we're going to announce it, but there will be a form of fashion. We're going to maybe dip our toes into a DC retro, which could be fiery, but we don't want to announce yet. We got the Halloween retro, so we're going to do that first, and you know what? There you go. Last episode of Halloween retro will let you know, but we have some good movies planned for Aquaman coming up because it's a big deal. You know, DC hasn't had a movie in a while.
I want to say, you know,
I haven't had a good movie ever.
Wonder Woman, The Dark Knight, Batman 89.
I just watched Suicide Squad the other night, and I was actually still all about it.
I just rewatched Wonder Woman. I did not like it.
I will say that I watched Suicide Squad on Netflix, and it is just as bad as I remember it.
Nice.
Is it still 10 out of 10 for you?
I'd still give it a 10 out of 10. I watched it. Like,
No.
now we can
That's
use that because you was like, oh, I gotta rewatch it. Such a
Well, no, like, I put it on when I was photo editing, and I caught myself watching the movie more than I was photo editing. I'm like, this is just great. But I had to watch it because, you know, I was doing the thumbnail for the newscast. And
Yeah,
it was
I'm not a
Joker-esque.
fan that you did that thumbnail. You're never doing that again after that.
What?
one.
You said it was great.
It was. Well, no, I think the look of it. I didn't like after that. I
What'd
caught
you
that you
say?
did the
You
Suicide
actually-
Squad font. I liked the joke, but then you did the Squad font. Joaquin's Phoenix Joker, no more Squad font after that. He's gonna do his own thing.
Well, I didn't know what kind of special font to
It's fine.
to roll
We'll
with.
find one. But I'm saying enjoy that this time.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Well, I won't use it again. I just
If you
thought
want to
it was
enjoy our
good.
podcast, ladies and gentlemen, go to geekfirstpodcast.com. You can find our social media at Facebook and Twitter for all updates on our schedule and what we're releasing and news, yada, yada, yada. All podcast services around the world, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Please support us there. Any other ones, let us know. If we're not there, we'll go there. If you want to see our big, beautiful, bright faces, go to YouTube. Please subscribe because, you know, we can do those retros. We're not probably going to do that Blade one, but, you know, maybe, you know, get to 1,000 from
You
there.
guys can do it. You don't need me to do it.
I think we're going to do it at some point. But yeah, thank you very much for tuning in to this. The Marvel retrospective probably won't be back until, I think, until about fall. But until then,
That's good. I like that.
You'll see the whole thing though.
Cut the
Searching
check,
for it.
Feige.
Cut the check, Feige.
Hell, that won't be boring.
There is a lot of strategies. What's the meta? There's all sorts of people using those, like, what are they called? Parabola summons? What are
well,
they called again?
it's actually a type
No,
of,
what are they called?
it's actually a type of humor in Deadpool
Um,
that when they break the fourth wall and they make jokes that are
Well, there's like,
real
you mean, like
world
special summons or.
implications.
No, it's like that stupid shit that they added later.
I went to the local tournaments they do in town. I held my own, but I did get bopped pretty hard.
Yeah.
That
People's
doesn't make
decks are-
sense.
What?
I held my own, but I got bopped.
Well, I would get to like a tie, like I'd win one and they'd win one, because they're like best out of 3 matches in 4 rounds.
Okay, I wouldn't say that's bop then, because bop would be if they like clean sweep
2-0 in a
yeah,
fist bump.
exactly.
Well, literally, like
Like when I play you in Smash for the Wii U.
I don't remember you bopping me.
I remember last
6-way?
time we played, I went like 5-0 against you. It was pretty good.
6-way? No, you didn't. Maybe strikers.
I did and just gave up. I had to start playing Dylan.
Strikers.
But yeah, there's so many different
That's
like
true. You
strategies
didn't have
out
to
there.
sub out.